Let's get into our next conversation here on Business Breakfast. Nigeria's economic activity has remained low even days after the presidential election as Naira crunch and fuel scarcity persist. iBrandTV takes a look at the effect of this persistence even as the country heads to the governorship and state house of assembly election. Well, let's get talking now, shall we? Olushola Oloye is a policy analyst and an insurance expert as well. He joins us virtually. Thank you for joining us. We appreciate you for having you on board today.
Thank you very much. It's good to be on your show after the presidential election.
Exactly. And congratulations to you, I must say. That, I mean, we all participated in the election and it went as peaceful as possible. But just before we get into the conversation for today, so what was your assessment of...
I think there's a bit of a network issue. I can hear you.
Okay. Yeah, so I can hear you properly. I can hear you clearly, really. So I was saying that just before we get into the conversation for today, let's get your assessment of Saturday poll. Now that we have a president-elect, surrounded with, controversies, and opposition are saying, other political parties are saying that they won't accept this result. So how does that, appear to you? How does that appear to you, really?
Okay, it's good that first thing first is that we are able to cross the milestone of the election holding. And, that we have achieved by making sure that there was no postponement or there was no cancellation. The election was able to be held. Votes are being counted. A president-elect we have, even though there are queries, questions, controversies, which there's a channel to resolve. So as Nigerians are looking at things from economic perspective, let's see and take things in a gradual way. First, we have crossed the milestone. We set a date for an
Hello, Mr. Okay, go ahead, please, Oloye.
Yeah, things surrounding the elections as regards controversy should be channeled towards the tribunal to resolve it before the handing over date, so that we can get the economy.
Well, I think we'll be back to the same story earlier of disruption. I'm not sure if Mr. Olushola Oloye can hear me, but I lost connection.
I can hear you.
Okay, go ahead.
I can hear you clearly.
Please, I need you to just finish on that thought.
Okay, now, just like I mentioned to you that we have crossed a major milestone. We set a date for the election, and the election, we're able to hold the election without having to postpone or cancel the election. That is a milestone. Another thing is the issue around controversy about the election. That can be channeled towards the tribunal and then can be resolved before the handover date. So as Nigerians, I need us to face the economy and start moving on with other things as against allowing this to hold us back.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, this controversy, of course, is one issue that a lot of people are looking at. Yesterday, the stock market declined, and some people have attributed the fact that if there wasn't a controversy or grievances as regards the outcome of this election, we wouldn't have seen that if the opposition or the other challengers, had accepted the result in good faith. We will not be seeing that. So what is the implication of the fact that we are going to see a lot of litigations coming up in the coming days? The Labour Party and PDP had also threatened that they were going to court. So let's talk about the implication of that and what it sends, the kind of feelings it sends to, to the economy.
Okay, thank you very much. Definitely, those actions, tends to pose more level of uncertainty and tends to shaking the expectations of potential investors and even businesses. It makes them to be a bit jittery in taking decisions, and this is why there will be negative impact as a result of these actions. However, this is not the first time we're having this kind of controversy around our elections. But we need to be able to start moving back into our day-to-day activities. And while the court issues, the tribunal issues are being resolved within stipulated time before the handover date. However, like you mentioned, there was a decline. But initially, capital market experienced a gain initially when the announcement was made on Monday. The bond market experienced some increase, so also we saw some increase in the equity market also.
Okay, let's look at some burning economic issues, the Naira crunch, the fuel scarcity. So the new Naira note and fuel scarcity is still an issue days after the presidential election. So what do you suppose is the reason the country is still having this experience?
Okay, thank you very much. The fuel issue and the queue, the scarcity persists even after the presidential and senatorial election, shows you very clearly that there are more fundamental issues around it beyond just the election. This shows clearly that there's a capacity issue from NMPC and also from the marketers, meaning they don't have sufficient, supply to be able to meet the demand as we speak. It shows that it is not only about the election that has held us back as regards this issue. It shows clearly that there is a capacity issue from NNPC and from the oil marketers.
But specifically, just a moment, specifically for the Naira note scarcity, that is out there, and so the alleged, conversations around it is that it's an intention to curb vote buying during the Presidential National Assembly election. Did you think, or do you think that that was the case? And if that was the case, was the intention to curb vote buying achieved at the end of the day?
Okay, that question, this controversy about whether the policy was targeted at, it's open. It's open. Government was very clear that some of these policies targeted about avoiding vote buying. But one thing I noticed in the course of the presidential election is that the numbers, the population expected in total, I think we recorded about 23 million votes for the presidential election.
Hello, Mr. Loye, can you hear me? Well, I think we just got disrupted again by the poor internet signal there. Perhaps
I can hear you.
Oh, okay. So please continue. Please continue.
I can hear you. So my first.
Well, I think same story, same issue of disruption there. Perhaps we'll be able to, get connected as soon as possible. But I think, okay, are you there now? Please continue. If you are there now, please continue on that one. While you're still watching Business Breakfast, we'll take a moment, and when we do get connected to Olushola Olowuyeye, of course, we'll get the conversation going again. This is Business Breakfast. Please stay with us.
I think we're talking on.
He joins us now. Thank you for joining us again. I mean, the conversation was disrupted earlier, and I wanted you to finish your thoughts on that. Perhaps the notion that the redesigned Naira note was targeted at curbing vote buying, and whether it achieved its intended, result.
Okay. Hello?
Yes, please go ahead.
Okay, so to a reasonable extent, if you look at it scientifically, based on the numbers of the turnout, we saw a less number of turnout in terms of people coming to vote. And I think by the time the statistics really comes out, we got quite a lot of youth to vote more this time around. And I'm sure that reflected in some of the party votes that the new party, Labour Party, was able to gather quite a huge numbers, in excess of over 5 to 6 million. Whereas, when we see what is going to come up with the governorship, we'll be able to give a better statistics or an overview of whether the whole idea of the redesign fully have an effect. But if not the number of registered voters and those who have got their PVC, compare with the number of people that actually came out for the presidential and senatorial election, the numbers were not as much as expected. So either way, there is an effect with the redesign, but we will be able to give a better assessment after the overall election is been held. Again.
Okay, I wanted to quickly jump in here, Olushola. The governorship election is still ahead. So looking at the effect of that on the turnout of voters and the presidential poll, so what do you think the implication would be on the governorship and state house of assembly? I mean, that's of course is coming. I mean, in next week. By next weekend, we should get into that. So is the implication we're looking at here the fact that the turnout was very, very low at the presidential and national assembly election? Some people are saying that it could repeat itself. So are you seeing the implication of these as well on the governorship election?
Okay, good. The possibility of the numbers going high in some states are there, because what we noticed in Lagos, you will notice that the numbers of people that came out for the presidential election was not as much. However, in some states, it might not be the same effect because the cash crunch still continues. People still don't have access to cash, so the scarcity is still affecting quite a lot of people. And so in some states, you might still experience low turnout because people really are not, able to have the means to be able to even travel down to their locations or move to be able to go and actually participate in this election. We pray that most Nigerians are able to even survive these additional days if they could even relax it a bit. But I'm sure with the government, they will wait until after the governorship election before CBN will make any other pronouncement as regards this cash crunch.
We just have about 9 days to the governorship election. So how hopeful are you that the situation will improve before the March 11th governorship election?
Currently, the policy still remains that you can't withdraw more than 20,000 on the counter, and it's taking a longer time for it to circulate. And the chances that more cash will be in circulation before that time is not there. So just like I mentioned earlier, we will experience some states will increase a bit in their turnout, while some states, the turnout might even become more lower than what we experienced during the presidential.
Now, just before I allow you to go, let's talk about the fuel scarcity now. I mean, queues are back again at the filling station. Some marketers selling as high as 300 naira, while the oil major marketers, of course, including the NNPC Limited, are selling around 194 and 200 naira. So there's a bit of, two different markets here, so to say. So, but if you look at the build up to the election, the situation was really, really critical in terms of people couldn't even buy fuel or have access to this commodity as well. Do you foresee a situation, the same situation ahead of the governorship election? And if so, how do we address this issue? Because it was one of the issue of factor pointed at by INEC staff and the ad hoc workers. They couldn't move around on time, and in some cases, they couldn't even locate their polling units on time.
Okay. I mentioned earlier that this persists because the issues have been on ground even prior to the election, and the chances that they will be held before the governorship election, the chances are not there because it's really a capacity issue from NNPC and the oil major marketers. And the issue of price difference also is persistent because there is no sufficient, supply of the product coming into the country due to the issue of forex, which we all, understand. But as the election, goes after the governorship, chances are there that things will start, getting back to normal. And once we are able to gain some level of stability, then oil marketers will also gain more confidence and see the direction that the economy is going, and then maybe they will be able to invest more and bring in more product into the country to solve the capacity issue that currently trends.
Okay, I think a good place to leave it. Thank you so much for your time. Olushola Oloye, policy analyst, is also an insurance expert. Thank you for sharing your thoughts with us on Business Breakfast.
I'm happy to be on your show. Thank you very much.
Still to come after the break, Brent crude futures rose 12 cents. That's about 0.1% to $84.43 a barrel in early trading, while US West Texas Intermediate also went up by about 9 cents to settle at $77.78 in early trade as well. We'll bring you details in a moment. Please stay with us.